Default. Hello? Okay. Is this mic on? Okay. Yep, I think I got it to work. Be right back. It's taking about 5 minutes. Let me get this slideshow to slow down. Okay. Hi. My name's Mike. This is a second stream that I'm trying. The first one, I got a warning because the film Conan there was sword swinging. I think it's a rated R movie, and I need to just play the trailer. The channel is Thanks Again Film. The idea is that I'm going over what films mean, or what they're trying to say, what that filmmaker is trying to say to me by making that film. Not necessarily what the plot is or the conclusion of the story, but to take the whole piece of art is as if I'm sitting in a gallery and I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to say. I thought it would be fun to do a stream tonight, pardon me, and go over A Christmas Carol. Uh, I thought about doing these on a regular basis to try and build the channel where I would hop on to a live stream and figure out the film for the next video. So far, there's about 60 some movies that I've gone over. And it's a lot of fun. I've gone over my favorites so far. A bunch of my favorites. The other thing is I'm thinking about keeping it to maybe a season of Thanks Again film. I'll do a season and then take a break, and then come back and try season 2. Maybe 100 films, maybe 75. Tonight is A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol is a fun one. It's Ebenezer Scrooge. There's a few good ones. The one I haven't seen yet that I want to is A Muppet Christmas Carol. They have Gonzo as Cratchit, I think. I think Gonzo's Cratchit, not Kermit. I always argue with my dad about which is the best one. I say the George C. Scott one is the best one. And then he goes, no, it's the one that's in black and white. I don't know. Come to think of it, it always is the one that's in black and white that you remember. Because of the end, when they're running, he's running through the snow. Plus, Marley looks great. So the idea is that I would go over what this story means. I'm not gonna. There's no pressure of figuring it out like some puzzle. I might not. Some of these films, I spend weeks going for exercise, walking, thinking about it before I go to sleep, trying to figure it out, joking. Yeah, so this is just a hangout, a Christmas hangout. Merry Christmas. Let's see, A Christmas Carol. I think I'll start by reading a little bit. That's the other thing that really surprised me. I was going over my YouTube channel, and there's only been a handful of viewers to show up. And I really got confused. Like, why is anyone interested in going over movies like this? There are a few channels. Sometimes when I can't figure out a film, like what, not necessarily every time that I watch a movie, I wonder what did that filmmaker mean to say, but what actually happened. Under the Skin was one. Prometheus was another. Where you run and you wonder how far does this rabbit hole go and what were they trying to say, and there's all sorts of world building. Those channels are fun. And I got to looking over mine, and I tried to take a step back. And I have to say, it felt a little academic. The channel felt a little academic. And that wasn't my goal. My goal was to have fun with this. And an aspect of it, it feels like I'm sitting in a classroom trying to figure out the next study story in English class. But I'm talking about stuff like Captain America and Aliens. Tonight, Scrooge. I saw Scrooge, the Bill Murray version, in the theater. And I remember it. I was slightly disappointed because my glasses were broken at the time. It was when I was a kid. I remember when it came out. And it was fun. I still quote it. My brother got upset. There's a moment when he tries to get across town. I think he made the conversion to be a better person. And he needed to get across town. He had to take a taxi cab. And the guy turns to him and says, "You lush." And I've never heard the word before. And it just stuck with me. So for years, every now and then, if someone's like if someone's in the way, in my mind, I'll go, "You lush." And it took me a while to figure out you shouldn't say that because it's calling someone a drunk or a boozer, which is rude. I wouldn't do that ever. But the words sounded good. I like the Bill Murray version. I like the George C. Scott version. I haven't seen the Captain Picard version. But he gets loud good. I like it when he gets loud. Because there's dignity in it. Um, there's a Rankin Bass version. Surprisingly, I think they should start playing that at Thanksgiving or something. I used to put on, what do you call it? The Hallmark Channel. TNT used to do a great job. I stopped watching TV, but I bet they still do it, where they just run Christmas. There's about 2 weeks of programming, or a whole month of just Christmas stuff. The cartoons. The Rankin Bass, yeah, it's neat because they have the little bubbly nose. Rankin Bass stuff is generally the stop motion claymation, whatchamacallit, Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph. They did those cartoons. And then they did Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and surprisingly, stuff like Thundercats. They have a great history of animation. I don't know what happened to that studio, but you can tell when one of their pictures pops up. I don't think they finished the Lord of the Rings pictures. Or Bakshi. I don't think Bakshi finished his Lord of the Rings pictures either. But they did The Hobbit. They did a great version of The Hobbit too. I like how at the end of it there's this objective opinion that happens where Bilbo dials back. And it's like, well, they had a war. And you see how then Bilbo shows up again and takes a tour how tragic it was. Okay, Christmas Carol. I'm not going to read all of this. A Christmas Carol opens on a bleak, cold Christmas Eve in London. 7 years after the death of Ebenezer Scrooge's business partner, Jacob Marley. 7 years. So this rich man, Scrooge, was partnered with Jacob Marley in running a business. They split the wealth. This is really, I forgot about this. I forgot about this. Scrooge. So if Scrooge and Marley were partnered, and Marley has a bad fate after he dies, he's showing up to warn him that we didn't do business right. Scrooge, an aging miser, dislikes Christmas and refuses a dinner invitation from his nephew Fred. He turns away two men seeking a donation to provide food and heating for the poor, and only grudgingly allows his overworked, underpaid clerk, Bob Cratchit, Christmas Day off with pay to conform to this social custom. That night, Scrooge is visited at home by Marley's ghost, who wanders the earth entwined by heavy chains and money boxes forged during a lifetime of greed and selfishness. Marley tells Scrooge that he has a single chance to avoid the same fate. He will be visited by three spirits and must listen or be cursed to carry much heavier chains of his own. That's what I was getting at. After Scrooge is in trouble. Scrooge is in trouble worse than Marley. After it makes me wonder now if Scrooge is in that much trouble, maybe Scrooge might have been a bad influence on Marley. His partner dies, and then he's taking over all the wealth. Holy cow. So those scenes look a little different. This whole story looks a little bit different. Scrooge, I'm going to point at Scrooge because his name is Scrooge. He influenced Marley. Marley, I think of Jacob Marley. Who is Jacob Marley? Oh, Jacob Marley is... Okay, we're talking about Jacob. Okay. Okay, everyone. Oh, it's just me. Jacob... okay. Jacob Marley. I'm thinking of Bob Marley. Bob Marley is later. Jacob Marley. I forgot what business they owned. That's super interesting. That's super neat. Okay. Scrooge might have been the bad influence. So Marley shows up. Marley is probably too close to see it. If Marley's a good enough friend, holy cow. If Marley's a good guy, Marley, on Christmas, crossed the boundaries of life and death to warn his old friend to be a better person, quick. Not only that, but he sent help. But he got those chains from a lifetime of greed and selfishness. So maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's the other way around. Scrooge is sitting there next to Cratchit. When did they hire Cratchit? Isn't that interesting? Maybe Scrooge was partnered with Marley. And Marley was no good. And his poison got to Scrooge. It made him a miser. And then Marley dies. And Scrooge is left there counting coins by himself, and he can't keep up on the books. So who does he hire? He hires Cratchit, a family man. That's super interesting. The underpaid clerk, Bob Cratchit. Jacob, Bob. Jacob, Bob. He was looking for a replacement for his old friend and picked Bob. So deep down already, Scrooge knows that he's, I don't know, poisoned or deep down Scrooge probably knows that something's off. So if that shop had two misers sitting in it, and one dies, would that miser add another miser? Or would that miser hire someone not interested in money? What does the greedy man do? He would hire someone to look the other way, and he'd try and keep as much money as possible. So Bob Cratchit is a kind pushover. He's a Clark Kent. He's an underpaid clerk. A Clark Kent. That's interesting. That's neat. Um, wow. Of course he wants to keep all the gold to himself. That's what prospectors do. Is Scrooge in the wrong from the start? I mean, what is the world at that point? That's capitalism, isn't it? To make as much money as you can, buy a big house. Scrooge didn't seem to have any family. He's gonna he's he's gonna take all the money, buy a big house, and sleep good. But apparently not. Apparently you gotta do stuff. His nephew Fred invites him over and he says no thanks. He turns away two men seeking a donation to provide food and heating for the poor, and only grudgingly allows his overworked, underpaid clerk Bob Cratchit Christmas Day off. So not only does he. Okay, Scrooge is such a Scrooge that he's like freeze to death on Christmas. He's like, homeless people, you should have found a way to make more money. Freeze to death on Christmas. Starve and freeze to death. I'm gonna go home and sleep good. A lifetime of greed and selfishness. A lifetime of greed and selfishness. His whole life was greed. Huh. But what does that mean? This is a British story, isn't it? His whole life is greed and selfishness. It brings a mental picture saying what? A lot of people go to work and save money and don't hand it out. The only way that looks, nowadays, the only way that you can look at that sideways, really, is if he's stepping on people. To get to where he is in the big house with all the money. The first spirit, the ghost of Christmas past, takes Scrooge to Christmas scenes of Scrooge's boyhood, reminding him of a time when he was more innocent. The scenes reveal Scrooge's lonely childhood at boarding school, his relationship with his beloved sister Fan, and long dead mother of Fred. And a Christmas party hosted by his first employer, Mr. Fezziwig, who treated him like a son. The long dead, his sister, okay, his nephew, okay. Wow. Those are nice folks. I can't imagine calling an uncle to say, hey, you want to come over to Thanksgiving? Christmas? I can't imagine calling an uncle, an aunt or an uncle, and saying, hey, do you want to join us for Christmas dinner? Us. Hey, do you want to join me for Christmas dinner? He has a family. So he went off to boarding school, so his parents weren't in the picture. A lonely childhood. But his first boss treated him like a son. So Scrooge might be a little bit impressionable. Scrooge might take on the characteristics of who he's around. He might be shy, or they said lonely. This reads that he's lonely. Scrooge's neglected fiancée. Whoa. Scrooge's neglected fiancée Belle is shown ending their relationship as she realizes that he will never love her as much as he loves money. He will never love her. She broke it off. fiance. So the idea is that Scrooge is cold and distant. No, he's lonely. But he's not so lonely. He's not a lost character. Scrooge did it right. He fell in love, and he fell in love with money. And then he was going to find his wife and live happily ever after in a giant house. It's she ended a relationship because he loves money. Finally, they visit a now married Belle with her large, happy family on the Christmas Eve that Marley died. Scrooge, upset by hearing a description of the man that he has become, demands that the ghost remove him from the house. So Scrooge is like he's lonely at boarding school. It's just him and his sister. There's no mention of the dad. The dad had enough money to send him to school. Unless they did it different over in not Britain. Yeah, Britain. I almost said British. So the dad has enough money to send his son off to school. The mom dies. So that's a sad Ebenezer. He figures out money, falls in love, but the pressures of life probably demand that he be in a position to send his own kid off the boarding school. Scrooge needed money. But this doesn't make sense. So he fell in love enough to say, we're going to get married to Belle. She breaks it off. Why didn't he find someone else? She did. Who did Ebenezer find? He found Jacob Marley. He found Jacob Marley. What I'm getting at here is it's a Christmas carol. It's not exactly the Bible or anything. I'm trying to tell you how to live your life. Super interesting. The second spirit, the ghost of Christmas present, takes Scrooge to a joyous market where people are buying the makings of Christmas dinner and the celebrations of Christmas in a miner's cottage and in a lighthouse. Scrooge and the ghost also visit Fred's Christmas party. A major part of this stave is taken up when Bob Cratchit's family feast and introduces his youngest son, Tiny Tim, a happy boy who is seriously ill. The spirit informs Scrooge that Tiny Tim will die. Unless the course of events change. Okay, Tiny Tim's sick. He's got back then probably pneumonia, the flu, something. Pox, measles could get you. He has trouble with his legs. Before disappearing, the spirit shows Scrooge two hideous, emaciated children named Ignorance and Want. Ignorance means it's a form of dumb. Should have known better. And want. Which is a form of greed. It paints a picture of a type of blindness, ignorance, and want. Before disappearing, the spirit of Christmas present right now shows Scrooge two emaciated children. They're starving. And their names are Ignorance and Want. He tells Scrooge to beware the former above all and mocks Scrooge's concern for their welfare. Now, and I always look at that in writing. They say former, not the latter. Former, not the latter means the closer one, not the first one said. So he mocks Scrooge about want, not ignorance. Apparently, Scrooge is a smart man. I think the idea is that right now, if there's anyone in town that can help the sick and dying, it's Scrooge. He's sitting on money. So right now, in Scrooge's life, this older gentleman, his mom dies, his dad has never been in the picture. He turns around and sees that his dad must have been focused on money to be able to send him off to boarding school and forget about him. So he's like, I know what the badge is. He's going to wear it and go try to make his own money. And he gets wrapped up in it. His wife, he almost got married. But right now, his life is that he's sitting there on a pile of wealth. He did it. He said, I'll show you. And he made his wealth, but he sacrificed the love of his life because apparently he didn't find anyone else. But right now, that's what he's looking at. He's looking at the love of his life have a family with someone else. I would be called Scrooge too. I wouldn't want to do anything. I do not blame Ebenezer Scrooge right so far. So far, this story is pointing to things that say he's doing the best he can to make himself happy in the world. He's adjusting. He's a bit of a Republican. He doesn't care if people's families die because his family died. He doesn't care if they don't have a mom or a dad because his weren't there, they died. He doesn't care about people like help. I'm starting to see what he sees when he looks at Cratchit. He's like, sir, could you please help me in my... And he looks at him and he's like, Bob. The reason why you're able to say that is because I don't have one. You're being rude right now. Don't. It's rude to talk about family to Ebenezer Scrooge. He's paying Cratchit a wage that keeps him out of the workhouses. He doesn't have to do labor. He does white collar work, which pays more. It should. Before disappearing, the spirit shows Scrooge. Oh, he tells Scrooge to beware the former, meaning want. Beware of want. And mocks Scrooge's concern for their welfare. He's calling Scrooge blind. Scrooge, why don't you care about these people? Huh? Scrooge. It's Christmas. Scrooge, it's Christmas. Why don't you care about these people? The whole town. Scrooge is saying, I don't have anyone. I can't call my folks over. I can't call my sister over. That's all I cared about. I can't call the love of my life over. She got distracted. I found someone to help me with the business so that Cratchit can have a job. Even he left me. I'm alone at Christmas. Why aren't they showing up at my house trying to... the nephew did. The nephew said, why don't you head on over? He's not going to ask for money. That's all they care about is my money. They don't care about me. Which one is it? All these people, they're saying I'm greedy. They're saying I'm greedy. All I want, all I have is money. They just care about my money. My old friend showed up. All he said was spend some more money. The third spirit, the ghost of Christmas yet to come, shows Scrooge a Christmas day in the future. The silent ghost, this is the one that looks like Skull and Bones. The silent ghost reveals scenes involving the death of a disliked man whose funeral is attended by local businessmen only, on condition that lunch is provided. Oh no. They'll show up for the sandwich. His chairwoman, laundress, and the local undertaker steal his possessions to sell to a fence. When he asks the spirit to show a single person who feels emotion over his death, he is only given the pleasure of a poor couple who rejoice that his death gives them more time to put their finances in order. When Scrooge asks to see tenderness connected with any death, the ghost shows him Bob Cratchit and his family mourning the death of Tiny Tim. The ghost then allows Scrooge to see a neglected grave with a tombstone bearing Scrooge's name. Sobbing, Scrooge pledges to change his ways. I don't know. So they leave the present. They didn't convince Scrooge yet, by the way. They took him to the past, and he said, yeah, she left me. They took him to the present, and he goes, yeah. It must be nice. They take him to the future. And they show him someone that doesn't have anything. This is a turnaround. this is really something. Because for this to work, Scrooge must think that he's already doing great as a beneficiary. He's dedicated his life to wealth. Isn't it grand that he's in the position to help others? No one else in town is like that, apparently. There's other folks in town. What about the butcher and the baker? So they show him a man who died, and no one cares about him. They're saying your life, nobody cares about you then, Scrooge. No, you don't seem to care about anyone. But guess what? Nobody cares about you then. Nobody cares about you now. Your wife left you. And nobody cares about you in the future. You're going to live an empty life where you ran after coins. An empty life where you valued coins, Scrooge. And not only are people not going to care about you, they're going to steal your wallet after you die. None of that is none of your wealth. He might give it to his nephew. But what is that? His life's work is this going to be divided up so people can eat good, sleep good for a while. His whole life is dedicated to eat good, to sleep good. And he's only caring about himself eating good and sleeping good. The cane kicker is that Tiny Tim dies. Little Tiny Tim doesn't make it. Oh no. Now that's unfortunate because something could have been done. The idea is that current Scrooge is going to let Tiny Tim die. I think that's the giant turnaround. Is that current Scrooge sees Bob Cratchit's family. It says, yeah, I could do something about that. And pigs just die, little boy. I don't know. He chooses. He chooses to let Tiny Tim go. Why, Scrooge? Why? Why would you do that? Okay, so I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Other people's families are dying. I remember this story. There's a moment where he says, let the poor starve in the workhouses. Let them die. Scrooge is saying, I've got mine, you get yours. Everyone makes it in the world. Everyone has to make it in the world somehow. Why are you putting all of the responsibility on my back? Is there only so many coins? Did I hoard all the coins for the town? They want me to be poor too. They want me to be poor too. They want me to work extra hard enough to be the wealthy man. And then throw it away. What am I, Sisyphus? No, I found a way to get money. And it cost me my family. What are you doing? Don't bother me. I picked money. No, I picked money. You all picked standing out in the cold or or being hungry. That's you. You picked hungry. You picked hungry and standing out in the cold. I picked the cozy fire inside the big house, the big wealthy mansion. Is Scrooge supposed to open up his door at the end of this story and become the new workhouse? He's he's gonna scoot over in bed and let the town just cuddle up. Yeah. Instead of letting those poor folks die on the street, Scrooge needs to open up his house and let a few of them sleep by the fire. He needs to hire some security to keep them from going up to the second floor. And at night, the people of the town who can't find a place can always find a place at Scrooge's mansion. Hey, everybody. This workhouse is pretty crummy. Let's all go cuddle up by the fire at Scrooge's mansion. If I remember correctly, he has a regular old townhouse. Like all the other rich folks. Scrooge awakens on Christmas morning a changed man. He makes a large donation to the charity he rejected the previous day. What's wrong with you, Scrooge? Anonymously sends a large turkey to the Cratchit home for Christmas dinner and spends the afternoon at Fred's Christmas party. From then on, Scrooge treats everyone with kindness, generosity, and compassion, embodying the spirit of Christmas. Merry Christmas. The following day, he gives Cratchit an increase in pay. Kindness, generosity, and compassion, embodying the spirit of Christmas. Okay, Scrooge has a turnaround. He sees that no one is going to care about him. I think that, what were their names? Ignorance and want. I think that is a giant clue that Ebenezer is suffering from a type of blindness. He's suffering from a type of blindness, and want has something to do with it. He does want. His business partner is saying that he wants too much money. That he's not sharing it enough. What I'm starting to think is the idea that his blindness his blindness hold on a second. Suggestion, open this. Hold on a second. Okay. There's something to do with Ebenezer Scrooge's blindness. There's something to do with Ebenezer Scrooge being blind. It's a giant part of the story. Because it gives the impression of when you close your eyes, you're in the dark, you're one way. That brings on the ignorance. You can't see what's around you. And when you open your eyes, aha, there it is. It was there all along. Why didn't I see it? So what were his eyes shut to? What were Ebenezer Scrooge's eyes shut to? His wife left him. His wife picked family. He was working on money, And she picked family. She wanted to have something. His Ebenezer Scrooge's family dies. And who shows up is the money man. So Scrooge must be the type of personality who is someone who's traumatized. This is a trauma. He needs saving. He's not mean. Life early on beat up Ebenezer Scrooge. The workhouses let them die and starve. He didn't get, he doesn't know that experience apparently of family. The picture is of families struggling. And as far as Ebenezer's concerned, his is welcome to my world. They're not there yet. Call me when you get there. So Ebenezer, looking around town in his ignorance, is seeing these people as wealth. Maybe. He goes, bah, humbug to you. They're on the street together. The guy's asking for money for the poor. He's got a friend. Ebenezer didn't have any friends growing up. Bob Cratchit sits across from him all day. Bob has wealth that Ebenezer doesn't and will never have. What are you complaining about, Cratchit? I'm not sure that Ebenezer's too blind. The point that makes it dark is when he's like, just let them die. He's that bitter. Life didn't work out the way he wanted it to. And he's bitter about it. It's pretty amazing. Some people turn the booze. I can't have a family. I'm old. I'm old now. My only friend died. My only friend died, and guess what? All he cared about was money. You're on the street, plump, talking about Christmas. I go home to a cold house. What did you want to show me? But his eyes open by the end because he sees a neglected grave. So what that says is all that money he probably those it's possible you can pay to have your grave upkept. He has a nephew. Ebenezer Scrooge is a fixture in that town somehow. And the way things are going, everyone turns on him. So basically, what happens is the town says, "You die, Ebenezer. you go, you starve and die from the workhouse." Ebenezer, you're in the workhouse. And when he has it right, once he dies, no one's going to care about him. And that's not what he wants. He wishes that he had his wife. I've seen this movie. He sees her happy with a family and he's like, "Aw, shucks." He's like, "Aw, shucks, don't show me this." Earlier, when I was looking up the movie, it said it's a redemption story. Someone made a version of this movie and called it a redemption story. Redemption. The action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. God's plan for the redemption of his world. The action of regaining or gaining possession of something in exchange for payment or clearing a debt. The peasants found the terms of redemption unattractive. The action of saving or being saved. Ebenezer gets saved. Spirits from the great beyond see that he's not as he seems. He's a blind man. If they could just show him what's wrong, I don't know. It's such a sad story. I mean, generally, people die. His family dies. His immediate family dies. People if you're lucky, you have a family unit growing up. A mom, dad, a sister, or a brother, if you're lucky. And that whole family unit dies for Ebenezer early on. He's supposed to hug the guy he works with. Maybe he strikes up a friendship. I think it's important to look at that he didn't remarry. He remarried some money. Scrooge did not remarry. What is this story trying to tell me? Blindness. It's such a great turnaround, too. This is a famous turnaround in storytelling. What does it is that he sees his dark grave. He sees that he's going to die. And it doesn't look good. What are we gonna do with you, Scrooge? So, what was it? The act of redemption is the act of saving. The fat guys looking to hand out money. The missionaries, their offer is trying to wake up Scrooge. Bob Cratchit sits there and he talks about the workhouses needing help. He's trying to wake up Scrooge. His blindness. His old friend. No, his nephew says, come over and have a Christmas dinner with us. It might help. That's 4. Five. The Ghost of Christmas Past. She shows up to help. The Ghost of Christmas Present. The Ghost of Christmas Future. That's 7. But 7 people in the story show up in his present day right before Christmas. 7 people show up to try and help him with his blindness. And the story is saying that he's going to, if he doesn't fix it, he's going to die, and it's not going to look good. His grave will be unattended. People will not look upon his life kindly. And he'll be cursed to wander. What happened to Marley? Wander the earth entwined by heavy chains and money boxes forged during a lifetime of greed and selfishness. He picked wrong. He'll be forced to wander the earth. Means he doesn't get to go to the afterlife. He's not going to heaven. He's going to some kind of purgatory punishment where he just has to shamble around and look at people. He's going to have to shamble around and watch families. I think it paints a picture, an idea that he's if he's the money man that is pressing people too much, then it paints the pictures that he's taking more than he's giving. If he's taking more than he's giving, then he's getting it wrong. It's a type of blindness to be able to do something and not do it. To be able to see it in front of you. To be able to help and not help. He's going to let Tiny Tim die. That's where Scrooge is. He's that blind in this story. So, the picture that I'm getting, that they're painting, is it's a type of you get what you give. Scrooge is broken in a way so that he's not helping like he can. He's not giving the way that he can give. So by the end, he's not getting anything either. And these people see it. These people in in his life see it. And they think it's such a tragedy. Which means the story might be saying, care about people, care for others. That's what happens at the end. And people live better. Tiny Tim survives. The Cratchit family is healthier, which is what Ebenezer wanted for himself. That was the goal for all that money. I remember watching this story. His nephew is doing all right. He doesn't need Scrooge's money. And he's calling to say, are you okay? To the most cratchitiest man alive. Charles Dickens crafted that and he put it in the story. Ebenezer is forced to go look at that family that he said no to. And I think it's that because by the end, he's happy. A weight is lifted. It's such a great picture, an image of blindness that the ignorance and want. Because those two things, they suggest blindness. So once he's cured, it's the happiest ending ever. It's someone who gets to hear for the first time or see for the first time. That he's hoarded all this wealth and he gets to go make people happy. It's a bright Christmas movie. I'm stuck thinking about what does Ebenezer get? What does he get? He doesn't, I don't know if, if he's cured of this miserliness, he might be able to find someone and not be alone. His heart is the idea of warmth. He becomes warm and kind towards people at the end. He cares about them. He cares about their welfare. He ran. He hopped out of bed and ran to the butcher to say no. They're going to eat good. He was handing out turkeys all over town. He told the kid from the window. I forgot. He was tossing money out his window, saying, "Go buy those turkeys." People need to eat good. It's Christmas time. People need to eat good. It's Christmas. What does Ebenezer get? He's hugging people at the end. I guess he becomes a mentor or something to Tiny Tim. They said that, didn't they? He's grateful for Cratchit. He becomes a father figure to Tiny Tim. From then on, Scrooge treats everyone with kindness, generosity, and compassion, embodying the spirit of Christmas. Okay, well, humbug. It's such a, it's such a bright story. Yeah, I wanted to go over it. Care about folks. Care about others, especially at Christmas. It's cold outside. If if things don't go well in life, don't let it don't give up on the good stuff. Don't turn your back on life. Don't turn your back on people. Just because something doesn't go your way, don't shut down. Participate in life. Life is not about making coins. You cannot take them with you. You will build a temple of coins and have a dark grave, a dark, empty, unkept grave. No one will care. Invest in people, money man. Care about folks. Ebenezer cared about his immediate family. Keep doing that. Even when they're gone. Fall in love, Ebenezer. It's not too late. It's not too late, Ebenezer.